let's talk. I have my coffee. This is a lot more casual format of a video. I was gonna sit on my sofa and like be super cozy, but first of all, this wall is beautiful. I'm really proud of myself for painting this wall, and also you should see my living room. I'm just gonna show it to you. I love to like bust myself out. My whole house is like absolutely wild right now. So there's, I've been trying to reorganize everything. Emily's mom is an organizer, and so she's helping me. And so yesterday we put all my Christmas stuff in bins because I used to just have them in random bags. And then I have to return some stuff. So I just have like stuff piled all over, but how beautiful are the new walls? The table's full of stuff. The kitchen's full of stuff. The kitchen is full of all sorts of stuff. We pulled everything from every corner. We're sorting it on tables in there. I just try to get organized. So I've been trying to have her come like at least twice a year, like every 6 months. But we were talking about it with the volume of like stuff that comes in and out for my job, because I do shoot a lot of products and get sent things that I don't ask for even sometimes. It's just really tough with the volume of things coming in and out that I really need to have a better system so that cardboard boxes don't pile up, so that my closet doesn't get out of hand. Cause like I'll shoot something and I'll pull stuff from every area of my closet, and then I'll put it in a bag and I'll run and I'll come back and shoot, and then I'll come back and it'll be dark, and then I have to edit something, and then I'll like work until I get really tired, and then I'll just be like, oh, I'll clean it up tomorrow, and then my whole closet room will just be a disaster. So anyway, this is one thing I'm doing for myself and investing in for myself, is having help create systems for organization. To circle back around to the self-love topic, like I think I used to hold a lot of shame around not being a type A, clean, organized, perfect person. I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and we both are neurodivergent, meaning like our brains just don't work like other people's. It's pretty common in people that have like childhood trauma or stuff like that, essentially like ADD or ADHD, and there's any number of other things, but essentially, and probably part of it is also, you know, our brains are just different the way we're born. But I've just never been able to kind of like keep order in my head or in my space. So me creating this home and living alone for the first time in my like adult life, I don't know if you guys know the whole story. I don't think I've even like gone into it too much, but I had essentially been like living with a partner or somebody pretty much my whole life until I ended up accidentally being alone in quarantine in this house by myself with no family around and no partner. And it was just such a rude awakening of like, how comfortable am I being alone? How comfortable am I with myself? What does it look like to live alone and create habits and routine that don't revolve around me accommodating someone else? There's like a very loud truck out there. I'm trying to have a peaceful chat with my BFFs, okay? Let's reset. So it is Valentine's Day, and I think so much emphasis, obviously, from the, you know, commercialism and all that stuff is put on what to wear, what gifts to give, where to go to dinner, etc., etc., etc. But I know that it can be really triggering for people that are single or unpartnered, either because they haven't found somebody or maybe they find themselves newly single. Regardless of your relationship status, I think there are so many beautiful ways to practice love. And I think what I've really, really learned the last couple of years is that the love you give from the overflow of feeling good about yourself and from high self-esteem is the most pure, beautiful love that can change people's lives and change the world. I used to be the kind of person that would bend over backwards, do everything for everybody at the expense of myself. And it would build resentment, and it would build burnout, and it would build all these things. And I realized that previously in my relationships, romantic and otherwise, I was giving from a place that I didn't actually have. And I was giving in order to receive love. I was giving to receive love. I wasn't giving love purely. And I don't think I knew better, and I thought that I was giving from like the goodness of my heart, but if I'm honest with myself, I didn't have anything to give because I didn't love myself. Like I didn't have self-love and I didn't have self-trust. And so the past 2 years, I have spent so much time building that. It's been a slow build. Like I would say I finally decided to just accept my body where it was like in 2017 or something. And that's when I started doing influencing, curve modeling, stuff like that. But before that, I would wear all black, head to toe. I would hide. I would be that person that would run and untag themselves in any photo the second somebody tagged them. Like I was so fearful of an image of me that would destroy my like self-concept that I tried to like construct in the mirror. I would just had so much shame around my body that I would just hide. I actually have like all my group photos of me and my friends. I actually have these. I actually did a TikTok video about this. Was like me hiding behind other people, or me wearing like a giant poncho or a giant muumuu. Like I just wouldn't wear things that had shape. Mostly I like to wear dark colors, but I definitely like to be behind the scenes, literally and figuratively. I would help other people build their dreams, but I didn't think that I was worthy of building my own. I didn't think that I was worthy of, not only worthy of building my own, I just didn't think that I got that, to have that. I thought that wasn't for me, that was for other people. Even saying that makes me just want to cry, like for that girl that just thought she wasn't the main character of her own life. You know what I mean? This is an emotional morning apparently. Who has the time? Me. I'm making the time right now. Anyway, so all that to say, I think this video is just gonna be about how I became the main character in my own life and how I romanticized my life and romanced falling in love with myself and getting to know myself, and how that has completely changed who I am as a person. I've had several friends say to me lately, like, you are a completely different person than the person that I met. And some of the friendships have stuck around and some of them haven't. You know, some of my friendships haven't survived this shift because I think the people who were in it for the wrong reasons didn't get what they got out of the relationship anymore. They were used to me bending over backwards and doing anything to people please and being so unsure of myself that they always got to be right. And there's not room in my life for that anymore. So beware, if you go down the journey of self-love, it can be a lonely road, but it's also the most beautiful thing you'll ever do. And it will open you up for relationships that are reciprocal and beautiful, where you grow together. Like some of my favorite experiences from this are friends that are on the same journey, and we kind of like met before when we were both different, and then we may have kind of like and now we're back together. Or some friends we've grown together and we'll be going through the same things at the same time. Like my friend Nastasi and I send each other voice memos of us, like one thing we're proud of ourselves for at the end of the day. And that's one thing that's, anyway, I'm gonna get into my tips. I'm gonna get into it, but I'm a chatty, and you've unleashed a monster by writing comments that you like the chat, because now I'm gonna chat, okay? I'm gonna chat. I just got a chunk, and I love this usually, but let's talk about tips to being the main character, tips to falling in love with yourself, tips to, I guess these are gonna be my top tips for self-love. And I was gonna give a number, but I don't know how many they're gonna be. Let's limit it. Let's limit it to 7. These are my 7 tips to self-love. Number 1, be conscious of the media you intake. I think that's like the number 1. And that means, what do you allow in your space? When do you allow that in your space? Like taking control over your own field. That sounds very hippy dippy, but let me explain. In regards to body acceptance, I don't want to say body positivity. I think that that has become overused, and I don't think people are using it in a way that, bottom line is I'm still not comfortable with my body, if I'm honest, all the time. I'm so much more comfortable with it. Like yesterday I was shooting stuff and I was walking around in my bra and underwear with 3 girls, different girls in the house that I don't know super duper well. Well, one of them I do, Emily. God bless you. But old me would have been so uncomfortable doing that. And I don't mind like shooting videos in my underwear and photos. And like, even though I've gained weight in the past few months, like I realized last night it had been like 5 months since I've worked out. And I see it in my photos. I had to take digitals for a modeling job the other day. And I was looking at them and I had a meltdown, because I'm like, that's not what I look like. Because in my head, I still look like what I looked like 6 months ago. Was a little tanner, I was a little fitter. For me, it's mostly like my arms were really strong, like I just looked stronger, and I just haven't been able to get into the trainer. And then we like fell out of the, like our training session, so I don't have a slot, so we're getting back to it this Friday, but with all my travel, it was just too wild. And I just took a little break, and I have to accept that I was enjoying the holidays. I was enjoying my time doing what I was doing, and I don't regret any of that. And I don't even regret the fact that I put on a few pounds. Like, yes, 2 days ago I was shooting something and I put on the jeans that I wore the first date Sparky and I went on, and they were so tight I had to lay down to zip them. Like they were bursting at the seams. And there was a moment I had to acknowledge, and I'm like, okay, this fit a little differently. Okay, well, and then I just like was able to move on, like, okay, well, I'm gonna have bigger jeans now, and also I have a plan to work out, and also I'm feeling my body more nutritiously, and also like I trust that for whatever reason my body's holding on to this, like if it goes, it goes, if it stays, it stays, and this is what it is, like acceptance of where you are. So back to the media thing. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab your phone and compare yourself to other people's bodies, other people's lives, probably not gonna feel very good. If you scroll your Instagram feed and they're all like weight loss products or people with bodies so differently built than yours, like people that are like super tiny and petite that just naturally are tiny. Like I used to do that to myself. I used to have like thinspo boards. Trigger warning, I had a major eating disorder for a very long time. I feel like to me it was dangerous to have not only intake media that wasn't good for me, that was reaffirming my messages about myself, that I wasn't good enough as I was, that there was something wrong with me, but also letting people in, like letting people's opinions or needs come before your own grounding. So I would say number one, watch your media intake, go through your socials and unfollow anyone that when you follow you get that feeling of like, oh, I don't feel good about myself anymore. Like for me, a scroll in the wrong direction can literally ruin my day, and I know that. So I don't my therapist calls it emotional cutting. Like I don't do that to myself anymore. I no longer have the need to like rub in my face that I don't feel good enough or like hurt myself on purpose, because I love myself too much for that. I don't want to do that anymore. So that's number one. Unfollow or mute people that make you feel less than. Unfollow or mute people in real life that give you the wrong messages. If your mom is always like, oh my gosh, honey, I tried this weight loss thing or this or that, or like a friend of yours is like constantly going on about their diet and it makes you uncomfortable, you can say something. Advocate for yourself. And also, don't let, like for me, then the other thing is don't let anybody in until you've let yourself in. So in the morning, if you haven't meditated, if you haven't like journaled or grounded or like taken a second without your phone, without touching your phone, to just like decide how you feel from within, decide who you are from within, maybe say some affirmations. If you guys want more morning routine stuff, I've got a whole gamut. But if you don't know how you feel, who you are, what's going on, and then you just open up the floodgate for the whole world of millions of media messages and bullshit, to tell you, no, don't do that to yourself. So number one, watch your media. This is gonna be a long video if I don't get through these 7 tips. Tip number 2 is to monitor your self-talk. I used to narrate my life inside my head, as many of us do, and I would do something silly and I would berate myself like endlessly. And I still catch myself doing this from time to time, but it's so much better. And I had this aha moment several years ago when I was in my friend's kitchen and I was like using her ice maker and like the ice fell on the floor. And I was like, oh, you idiot. And she's like, excuse me? And I was like, oh, I dropped the ice. I'm such an idiot. And she goes, don't you dare talk to my friend that way. And something about that just struck me. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I was like, whoa. Like, I didn't even know that I was doing that. It was so second nature. I used self-deprecating humor as a defense mechanism growing up. And I probably still do to some extent. And I think it's one thing to not take yourself too seriously and to like make light of things and have fun. But it's another, if you're the butt of your own joke constantly, like check what you're saying in your head and ask yourself, am I being kind to myself? And the best way to do that is ask yourself, am I talking to myself the way that I would talk to my own daughter or my best friend or my mom? Imagine you as a little girl and you're parenting that little girl and you're together doing something. What would you want her to witness you saying? What would you say to her in the same situation? If she dropped the ice, you'd be like, you little loser. Like, you wouldn't do that. You would say, oh, babe, it's just spilt water. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Like, that's how, like, insidious this self-talk is. It is, so number 2, just today, your homework is just start to monitor the thoughts in your head. And one way to get really good about observing the difference between who you are as a person and your thoughts and your mind, because that's 2 different things. Your mind is literally a computer, it's a machine, your brain, and then who you are is something different. So you are not your thoughts are not the truth. And the best way, I think, to kind of get to that point, if that's not something that you've considered before, is to try meditation. You can use the Headspace app. There's a million apps, there's free ones everywhere. I personally love Waking Up. They have like a free trial, and this is not sponsored. I don't have a code. It's not like that. But I did that over quarantine. They had like I want to say like a 60-day, but now I think they've condensed it to like a 28-day intro to meditation, and you just set aside X number, like I think it's like 10, you can do 10 or 20 minutes, but you can just do 10 minutes a day, and it's just mindfulness, and it helps you separate like what is my natural state of like my open mind and what are thoughts, and then you can learn to decide what's true for you and what's not, rewire your neural pathways, and it's absolutely miraculous. So number 2, again, is monitor the way you talk to yourself, monitor your self-talk, and your homework for this week is to just observe. You don't, and then here's the thing, when you notice yourself doing it, don't then be like, oh, you're being so mean to yourself again. Like, you can't then use that as an excuse, okay? So no cheating there. Number 3, get to know yourself, get to love yourself. Like, treat yourself as someone who you are dating. And there's a couple ways that you can do that, but the way that I'm talking about for getting to know yourself is get curious about yourself. If you were meeting somebody, you would ask them like where you're from, what you do for work, what are you into, what are your hobbies? Like, ask yourself the same questions as far as like, what are your hobbies? What do I like? And if you don't know, find out. I had so much fun doing, here's some assessments that you can check out if you're curious about getting to know more about who you are, what makes you tick. Like, obviously there's astrological stuff, whether you believe in that or not, up to you. I do think there's like some merit to planetary stuff, but I'm not like very well known. I won't be like Cancer and Pisces, you guys are doomed. Like, I'm not like that. I don't know anything like that. But I do know like the Pattern is a wild app. I have goosebumps just thinking about it. I actually uninstalled because it like triggered me because my ex and I did it together, and I also would find that I'd wake up in the morning and like be too reliant on it. But I may download it again. Like, it's been a while, but they have CoStar, that one. But better than that, I think, is like Myers-Briggs. You can take Strengths Finder. There's a book called Strengths Finder by Gallup Poll. It shows you like what you're good at. The Enneagram, you can look up free online Enneagram tests. My friends and I are really into Enneagram. It's like a numbered type, and it's like just kind of tells you about how you work and who you are. And one thing I did that was really cool over the past couple years was I did a human design reading. And that essentially is kind of a mix of all those things. And it just tells you like, are you the kind of person that goes out and gets things? Or are you the kind of person that follows your instinct and sees what comes up? Like, how do you operate in the world? And I think whatever resonates with you, there's so many different ways of going about it. And if you want another video about that stuff, I'm happy to. But even walking down the street and seeing what you notice, oh my gosh, I can't stop looking at that red rose bush. What does that mean? I love flowers. I love roses. Like, just get curious about yourself. Get to know yourself better. If you want to try a freaking, pottery class, try a pottery class. Like, indulge yourself in getting to know what you're good at, getting to know yourself. Invest in yourself as you would invest in a new partner. That's number 2. Be curious about yourself and get to know yourself even better. Is that 3? That was 3. This is going well. Number 4, hyper focus on self-care. And I think that we have this notion that self-care is like a bubble bath or getting your nails done, getting a massage. Like, that's great. I'll do that all day long, please and thank you. But self-care is more like prioritizing yourself and creating rituals for yourself. Like, for example, I have a non-negotiable in the morning that I do like my mini yoga flow, I do my breath work, and then I meditate. I try to journal when I can, but those 3 things I do, well, in addition to just like a quick grounding, I do that every day no matter what. And it's just my quiet time, like I said, to like do my thing before the world comes in. One thing I've not been great about lately is my nighttime routine. I will work until like 12, 1 a.m. and then just fall into bed, sometimes with my makeup on, like in my clothes. Like, it's just not good. And I used to like do a whole turn down service. I'd like get my room ready. I would make tea, take a bath, listen to music, and be off my phone for the past couple hours of the night. And I did that all through quarantine. And I think as work has picked up and life's gotten busier, I have stopped doing that as much. And so talking about this out loud right now, like, maybe I'll check in with you guys next week, and my homework is going to be to reassess my nighttime routine, because my morning routine I feel like I have down, and I don't feel like I operate efficiently without it at all. But for me, self-care is prioritizing the care and keeping of yourself. Like, if you're a parent, you wouldn't just throw your child in bed without brushing their teeth, without dinner, et cetera, et cetera. So why would you do that to yourself? Like, if you think they're worthy of that, like, you are worthy of that too. You are a little human that grew up. Like, you're just as important. So think about how you take care of yourself and how you can take care of yourself better. There's a helicopter descending upon us. It's very loud. Number 5, I feel like you can't talk about self-love without talking about self-trust. Self-trust means that you trust yourself, you believe in yourself. It's really, really difficult to operate in the world and feel a sense of safety if you haven't built a home of safety in yourself. For me, that was self-trust. This is wild. But during the first few months of quarantine, I was going through a very, very, very intense, like, untangling kind of breakup, and I truly didn't know who I was. Like, my whole world was shattered and all the plans I had for the future, and I just felt so alone. It was such a dark time, and I realized, like, I felt paralyzed. Like, I would go on Netflix, I couldn't even choose a video to watch. I would, like, go on Postmates if I was gonna order food or something. I was like, I don't know what I even feel like eating. Like, I can't decide what rug to put in this room. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't trust myself for anything. Like, nothing I did was good enough. And that is, like, broken self-esteem. That is, like, trauma talking. That is not true. So I actually got hypnotized to learn to trust myself. And somehow a friend of mine said that this woman had helped her, like, rewire her neural pathways around her relationship with her dad. And it changed everything for her. Like, she used to have a very contentious relationship with him, but something about the work they did together allowed her to, like, own her part, accept him as he was, and then, like, fix their relationship essentially. And then she said, like, oh yeah, then I had her help me break, like, an addiction. I had her help me break this. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. So I tried, and it was amazing. I did 9 sessions, I want to say, with Julieta Anchanta of, I can drop her info below, or actually if you guys want another video about this stuff, let me know. She's an incredible hypnotherapist, and she helped me completely, like, evaluate my self-trust. And when she asked me, she's like, what do you want to work on? I honestly had no idea. I was just like, please fix my life. And it just popped in my mind. I was like, self-trust. And through our 9 weeks of working together, I really felt something shift. Like, by showing up for myself, like, even completing that, I didn't trust myself to honor my own word. You know, it's that thing, like, I'm gonna work out every day this week, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You set yourself up for failure almost. It's like self-sabotage. And then you're like, I didn't do that. And then it furthers your narrative of, I'm not good enough, I don't complete what I start, like, all that stuff. So for me, even completing that was something, right? Showing up for myself was something. And we explored all kinds of different reasons why I may not do that, and we did, like, visualizations, and, like, it was just really, really cool. But all that to say, I began to consciously work on trusting myself. I began to consciously work on being decisive about the littlest things, so that when it comes to, like, big decisions, I know who I am in the world and what I stand for. I think that that's a very, very important thing. My therapist and I have been working the last few weeks on this exercise. It's like a values exercise where you identify your values. What would you not be you without? And, like, what makes you you, essentially. And we were able to, like, identify those, and, like, even knowing those, like, knowing what you stand for or don't, like, okay, if I believe in this, then this opportunity is not right for me, or this friendship's not right for me, this situation, it, like, helps you make decisions. So if you know who you are, going back to the previous point that I made about knowing who you are, if you know who you are, it's easier for you to know what you choose and to trust yourself. So they kind of all go hand in hand, but I would say practice trusting yourself in little decisions. For me, it was like taking a risk on buying a bold rug, like deciding to just paint my walls on a whim. I'll do that stuff now. Whereas previously I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Should I cut my hair? I don't know. I'd ask everyone, should I do this? Should I do that? Now I just do stuff. What a concept. I don't call a million people and get their co-signing. I know, and it's not about everything. Absolutely not. There's so many things I'm still figuring out, but as a whole, I trust my decision. I trust myself. So self-trust is huge. Exploring why you may not trust yourself and practicing self-trust is huge. Okay. Number 6. This is going to sound silly, but sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. I remember when I used to feel really uncomfortable in my body and I wore, like, do you ever have, like, a flashback, a visceral flashback to wearing, like, a dress or something that you felt really uncomfortable in, and then you see it in your closet and you're like, oh, like, it brings you right back to that feeling of, like, ugh. I had so many clothes like that I would just wear for days on end that would be, like, all, like, gross and, like, or just, like, I'd worn them so many times that they were super worn out and all, like, bally and linty, but it's the only thing I felt comfortable in. And there's nothing wrong with comfortable clothes. I'm wearing sweats right now. You guys know that I wear sweats all the time. It's not that. But anyway, I think that if you show up for yourself and act as your highest self, even in something as small as what you wear in the day, that can make a huge difference. So I think number 6 officially is going to be envision your highest self and show up as her or him or they. I decided to buy this wild, like, gold outfit from this brand because I finally was like, you know what, I don't know what size I am because all I do is wear stretchy pants from Target. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy this and see, and I'm just gonna like bite the bullet, accept the fact that I'm buying a size, I think at the time I bought like a size 14, or maybe I bought like a 16 bottom and a 14 top, I can't remember. At that time I was fully like into size 18, by the way, too, but I just didn't know because I hadn't tried clothes on. So I bought this outfit, and I remember I put it on and I was so nervous people were gonna look at me, and I went to this event with a friend and this guy asked to take my photo, and I was like, no. I was like, please no. I was like, sure. And I had to put on sunglasses and like look down and look away from the camera, and I still have that photo. I wonder if I can find it. And you could just tell my body language, like I didn't want to be seen. But after I saw that photo, it did this thing to me. I was like, oh, I'm not a monster. Like I don't look crazy. Like in my mind, I had created this idea that I was like so crazy looking, and like that I was just like so unworthy of taking up space. Man, even thinking about that now, I'm like, people can change so much. So if you see me out here confident and you guys are like, oh, I wish I could be as confident you or pull this stuff off, spoiler alert, you can. I chose to do this. I chose to take a risk and wear one thing I liked, and it catapulted into me doing this. Literally, I posted that outfit and like one other outfit I got during that thing. The brand reposted me. They hired me for a campaign. Like that was my destiny, whatever you want to call it. Not to say that like, you know, I'm not saying like, oh, get an outfit and post it and you'll be like doing what I'm doing. It's not that. It's just like whatever it is that is your path and journey, if you say yes to the mission, if you accept your like divine mission and you just show up for yourself as best you can, you will be supported. And I don't know what you guys believe. Like, I'm not gonna like force my beliefs on you. It's totally, my belief is that if you show up for yourself, the universe will take note. And you will also be more aware when opportunities present themselves. You'll be more ready, and it's like this snowball effect. If you don't show up for yourself or believe in yourself, why would anyone else? Would you go to a hairstylist that thought they sucked? I wouldn't. I'd be like, I'm gonna come out of here looking crazy. Would you go to a personal trainer that had really bad like body image issues and like thought they looked horrible? I'm like, I don't know, I don't look that great. No, you don't. You go to people because they believe in themselves. Like, why would anyone want to come to you for something that you can't give to yourself? Envision your highest self and show up as her. I actually did this exercise where I wrote like what I wanted my day to look like and what my highest self looked like, blah, blah, blah. And then I like set it out into like a voice note, and then I like listened to it from time to time as like kind of like an affirmation or like visualization thing. But I had a conversation with my friend the other day. She was picking out an outfit to go to this lunch for work. She's like a high-powered marketing person for this like high profile like breast cancer research foundation thing. She's amazing. So anyway, she was going to this luncheon and she was texting me, hey, I'm gonna need your help later. And so I didn't hear from her, and so I texted her. I was like, hey, did you figure out your outfit? How are you feeling? And she's like, oh, my mom helped me pick it out. I feel good. And I was like, she's like, it's very not me, but I'm doing it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, so why are we wearing something that's not us? She ended up calling me. We had the longest conversation, and she just felt like she was wearing what she thought she should wear based on like what her sister wears, what her mom said, what she thought other people were wearing. And I was like, what do you want to wear? And I actually said this to her. I was like, okay, envision your highest self. I was like, not the person that's lost all the weight you want to lose or like has this or that. Like realistically, like the best version of yourself that you can imagine in your current circumstances. And you watch her walk into this event. What is she wearing? And she's like, this dress. And I was like, then wear that dress. And it was just such a powerful conversation to have. And it just reminded me of asking myself the same questions. Like, how do I want to show up in this world? Like this morning I was supposed to go to this event and do this thing, and I woke up late. I Googled how far away the event was, and it was like 40 minutes away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late. Like I can't do this. I'm so nervous. And I realized like I was actually self-sabotaging myself by I worked all day yesterday. I had literally shot like 4 or 5 things for work. I had somebody helping me here organize. I was doing 8 million different things. I worked super duper late. I was supposed to go to an event last night. Like it was just, I shouldn't have booked myself in that crazy. But sometimes I feel like we almost like don't have a realistic sense of our time and like what we can accomplish, and then we set ourselves up for failure and like hurt ourselves in the process. That's not what my highest self would do. My highest self would have done a bedtime routine, gotten to bed early. If she decided that this event was something she needed to do, she would have had her clothes laid out. She would have pre-Googled the address. Like, and that's not to shame myself, but that's to remind myself, what can I do better next time? And you have to have self-compassion along the way. It's a very fine line between self-deprecation and like self-betterment. But anyway, I find that asking yourself like what the highest version of yourself would do is a very great thing. So that's number 6. Number 7, have fun. I think this is something that I've been missing in my life. Like, have a sense of humor, like find what brings you joy and light and laughter, and make sure you get some of that in every day. There are times where it's heavy and the self-betterment stuff is hard and like life is freaking hard, but you will be surprised. Like the other day I was cleaning up my kitchen, and I'm not that kind of girl that will put on a thing and have a dance party. I've just never been that girl. I don't know why. It's not my thing. I love that people do that. But I find like something about dancing to me is like so personal. Like I rarely like do, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I've always like, you know, in movies, they'll always have those scenes. And I was like, I wish I could be that free and be that girl. And I just never have been, which you guys might think I'm that girl because I can show up here and do this, but we all have our thing. Okay. So I got this like wild hair to put on Miley Cyrus Party in the USA. And I just like put it on and I just like danced alone in my kitchen and put my dishes away. And I was just like laughing at myself. And I was like, this is like a cheesy movie moment. And it feels so good. And I was like, why don't I let myself have fun? Like, why do I take myself so seriously? Why do I take everything so seriously? Like, oh, I'm gonna get emotional again. Here we go. I think that that's one of the reasons I love this space with you all, because something about this, something about showing up here every week, it gives me a reason to be silly, like to try on clothes and like make fun of them and like have fun and show up and be silly with you guys. I don't know why, but that's something that has made me feel that way. So I'm trying to build in more moments of little joy. So you can make a little note in your iPhone, or I'm not assuming, you could be an Android user. I accept Android users here. Or write down a physical thing and just like think of things that bring you joy. For me, when I go outside and I feel like sunshine on my face, I feel so much joy. Like something about that feels so good to me. And like going in my hammock, putting on like a song that's random that I haven't heard in a long time, whether I dance to it or not, but just like a nostalgic song, a nostalgic movie. Like make a list of little joys and try to just do one every day. It could take 5 minutes. It could take 1 minute, like whatever it is. So 7 is infuse your life with magic and joy and see what happens. So I know this was a very long chatty video. I know I don't have makeup on and it's not glamorous, but I hope it was valuable. I've been thinking a lot about how to talk more about this stuff because I find it's like leaking out of me when I'm doing a try on or I'm doing something else. Like this is the stuff that I just end up talking about. And it's so strange because I know that I'm alone in my room right now, but it feels like you guys are sitting here talking with me. Like it feels like we're having these very real connections and conversations. And I know when you guys like comment and say that you're having lunch at work with me, like we are sharing this energy, even though it's like through a camera and through YouTube, and that sounds so like woo, but I feel it. Like I feel the fact that you are all rooting for me. Like I feel the fact that what we talk about and the messages that we bring up like resonate with you guys. And I would love to find a way to be able to connect further. I don't even know how. I guess we could do like Instagram lives, or I will be thinking on that. But in the meantime, your comments mean the world. I don't always comment back to everyone. I do answer my DMs on Instagram a lot more, but I'm going to be better about answering the comments as they go live. So I'm going to make sure that I focus on the comments in this video. So if anything like this resonated with you, I want you to comment below. Let me know if you're gonna do the homework of monitoring your self-talk. Let me know like if you have any tips for your own self-love, or if this woke you up to something that you need to work on. If you wanna explore more of these topics, if there's any way that I can better support you on your journey or provide resources or whatever, just let me know. I'm so grateful for you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you. And I hope you love yourself. And whether you're partnered or unpartnered, you can put these things into practice. But if you are partnered, you can put these into practice with your partner as well. Like you can get to know them all over again. You can approach the relationship from a place of like being your best self and being present and showing up for each other. You can put this into play with someone else as well. So anyway, all that to say, if you're partnered, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your person. If you are unpartnered, you have a beautiful opportunity to become your own safe home and your own safe space so that you can invite in the right kind of partner. I am experiencing that right now for the very first time, and it is mind-blowing. I didn't know it was possible to feel so secure and happy in myself and enjoy my solitude and my alone time so much, and also enjoy getting to know a partner and to feel like the lines aren't blurry between who I am and who they are. And like, it's it can be very complicated. So it is a beautiful journey, but I really hope that you guys take care of yourself today. If you're watching this and you don't have any plans tonight, you are unpartnered, do something beautiful for yourself tonight. Light some candles and take a bath, put on some music, do self-massage with lotion, like do something for yourself. Anything, please, I beg you. I love you guys, please love yourselves, and I will catch you on the next video. If you're new here, this isn't the general style of video, but I hope that you decide to stick around. Subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you are a returning BFF, thanks for being here. Thank you for encouraging me to open up more about this stuff, because this is what makes my heart set afire. I don't even know what I said, but fiery heart, whatever. But that emoji of like the flaming heart, that's me. Anyway, you guys give me space. You hold so much space for me to show up. And I just hope that I can hold that same space for you back. We're all just walking each other home. I love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.